comparison is that's the bread and butter of great poetry, the conceit, finding two things that are so dissimilar and yet bringing them together in a way that's the aha moment. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Like.
In fact, in the Poetics, Aristotle says, and this I think actually confirms something you were saying before, he says that the power of metaphor can't be taught. And I'm not convinced of that, by the way, right. But it's a very interesting idea that indeed the ability to see counterintuitive likenesses, right. Which then become quite intuitive, is a real gift. The submission to legitimate artistic authority, in which your training requires you to recognize someone's artistic talent, is so superior to your own that right. You need to pay attention to learn how to do that. And again, intuitively, we all know this. Aristotle says in the Poetics that the human being is the most mimetic of animals.
Right.
And he says something very interesting that I've actually meditated
when we know
upon.
Mirror neurons, we begin to actually mirror the person we're sitting with. Entrainment, the hearts begin to beat in sync with the people we're standing next to.
No, exactly.
Women who live in together, their periods synchronize.
That's right. So that when young people are actually trying to learn something, of course, they imitate their heroes. They play their guitar like their favorite hero does. They hold the bat that way. Yeah. You can always see a young person when they're imitating.
Dylan was imitating James Dean, Charlie Chaplin.
That's exactly right.
Right.
But that is itself.
But then he became who he was.
Yeah, it wasn't just that he became that, but he became it by, in a sense, mastering his master.
Sure. I once saw a documentary on my favorite lyricist, Hank Williams. And Hank Williams could imitate these two singers. And he said he realized that he had to find his own voice. He said, so I got right in between them. And then in the documentary, they showed the two singers and they blended their voice, and it was Hank Williams. It's just amazing.
Remarkable.
So again, mimesis, like he was, Toynbee goes in great detail about the mimetic importance of mimesis in a civilization.